Hey guys, Moldy here. Another video for you today. Now, just to give you a heads up, um, while I was recording this video, I did go ahead and do all the voiceover as I was filming, but for some reason it decided it didn't like what I did. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and do voiceover after the fact here, so it might be a little weird. I'm still getting used to the whole video editing thing as it is, so bear with me and we'll see how it goes. So the main reason for this particular video is actually to help out my sister. She's a writer, and I happened to be viewing her website the other day, and it is very bland. It's just a white background and a couple of articles written in black font. It's not terribly exciting in her name, although it is different from this name that you see on the screen. It looks just like this. It's very boring as well. So I figured, I could add in a little flavor, change up some of these letters, make them a little more exciting. So she could use this as a logo or a signature on her business cards. And writers use those. I have no idea. But that's the idea behind this. And like I said, she is a writer, so the original idea was to, for these A's, I was going to turn them into upside down books that are a little open. And you can see me here just, toying with the idea. I ended up scrapping it because it turns out I'm nowhere near as artistic to pull that off. I'm sure there is a way. If you guys have a way, by all means, let me see what you guys come up with. But I couldn't do it. It wasn't in the cards for me. So I ended up scrapping this idea, and I ended up turning the I and Meister into a pen. And you'll see that later on. And I think it turned out well. I think the pen turned out well. After the I got a little crazy, and I turned part of the K in Kayla into a feather. Now that I'm not too excited about. You'll see later on in the video when this comes up, I had a lot of trouble with the feather. It wasn't working out the way I wanted it to. But we got it figured out, and I'm happy with the end result. Hoping she will be too. As you can see, the pen here is just a bunch of rectangles. And I wanted to keep it very simple since this isn't the main attraction, I guess the focal point. Her entire name would be the focal point. This is just adding a little flavor, like I said. I want to keep it very simple, not too loud or anything, so it's just a bunch of rectangles. I'm adding the nib here, and you'll see as I go on, I toyed with the idea of rounding out the tip of the nib, but I ended up not going with that because it really just made it look more like a crayon or a Sharpie or something, so I didn't like that idea. I did round the little button here at the end, just because those buttons are rounded on most pens. But it's a very simple design, and that was the point. That's exactly what I wanted it to be, just to take place of the capital I. Here we go, rounding the top. You'll see what I mean about it looking like a crayon. This looks a little goofy here. But it was a little too simple, the pen was, so I decided to add the clip of the pen, the little part that hooks onto your pocket or on your folder, whatever. That's what we're working on here. I wanted to make sure that we kept space between the pen and the clip. That way, as you're able to zoom out, you could still see that they were separate things. Just like every piece of the pen is separate, I wanted the clip to be separate too. Playing with the width tool here, unlike the rest of the pen, I wanted this clip to stand out just a little bit, just a little something special. So I went with a couple of different widths here. Now I did end up making a bit of a mistake here on the clip, and this is, I guess, a teachable moment for me. I didn't correctly size the flat part that I'm making right now. I didn't correctly size that to that particular part of the pin that it connects to. So you'll see me here in a minute going through the direct select tool and making adjustments there. And I don't necessarily prefer the direct select tool. I honestly prefer the curvature tool. I find it much simpler. I know there's a lot of I don't want to say snobbish, but a lot of people prefer using the pen tool and the direct select tool. But for me, it's all about the curvature tool. Get those nice, smooth curves in there, and that's really what it's all about. I love those nice, smooth curves. But here I am fixing it up as best as I can. There's really nothing noticeable as far as mistakes go, but like I said, just a teachable moment. I'm finishing up here on the pen, just working to make sure we get the dimensions right. Like I said, I wanted to literally take the place of the eye, so the best way to do that, make it seem like it fits within the font that we've chosen, is just to make it the exact height and width of the eye, and it worked out pretty well. You'll see here in a second, it fits in very well with the font, and I'm happy. I did run into some trouble here. See here, I was working on some colors, and I could not, for the life of me, remember. I've got you can see the clip here is colored red. I could not remember or recall what that reminded me of, and eventually, after I was searching through it for a minute, it reminded me of the I think it's the United Methodist Church flag. Here it is, right here. Yeah, I just couldn't handle it, so I did away with it. I ended up turning the whole thing red, and you'll see at the end of the video, I changed that for kind of a darker pink to more reflect my sister's personality. But that red clip by itself, that was something. Alright, there we go, here we go. Pink. But pink's a little too bright. She doesn't necessarily like neon pink. That's not it's not a color I would use to describe her, so we'll go with the darker one in the end. But this is it for the eye. The eye, I think, turned out very well. But here is where I'm looking at the whole thing as a whole, and it looks a little one-sided. I don't necessarily like that just the eye is replaced or augmented, I guess would be a better word. So I'm working on the K here. I'm going to separate the straight line from the kind of diagonal lines there. You'll see me fighting with a feather here for a while. Definitely not my strong point. I'll freely admit that. Gave me way more trouble than I expected it to. But we'll see how it goes, and you guys let me know what you think of it at the end. I just realized that throughout this whole video I've referred to this as the feather, and I mean, that's what it is, but not necessarily so. It's actually a quill. It's meant to be a quill to go along with the writing theme of this particular logo. So that's the whole point of it. Just like the pen, the quill is a writing utensil, and sister's a writer. So it makes sense in my head, at least at the time. In retrospect, I probably would have just left the pen and foregone this quill, this ill-fated quill here, just because I think it distracts a little too much from the name, which, like I said before, is the focal point. We want the name to be memorable, and not that the pen and the quill here are terribly distracting, but we really want the name to be the focal point. So in retrospect, I do away with the quill, keep the feather, but I'm glad that we got to experience this. Just like the clip on the pen, this is a bit of a teachable moment for me. In the future, what I'll do is I'll probably look up references and use those, because honestly, I don't know what a feather looks like off the top of my head. But here we are with the close to finished product. Messing around with a couple of colors here. You'll see me pick the darker pink here, and as you can see, the feather is blue right now. After the fact, after I've recorded all of this, I decided to go with just the pink, much like the my feelings on the quill being distracting. I felt that too many colors, the two colors were a bit distracting, so I've decided to go with just the pink. But yeah, we're finishing up here. A little bit of a underline using the clip here, just kind of bring that all into one piece. And this is pretty much it. This is it. So let me guys know what you think. If you guys want to, using the same name, send me your ideas or what you think I could do better. By all means, I'm certainly no expert here. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.